All right, and now we're going. Okay, so got attendance. Told you guys about that. Okay, you guys good so far? Okay. All right. So gotta do a bunch of first day stuff. I'm gonna start with oh, actually, let me go back to the last slide. Just one more thing I want to mention about here. We get lights off. It gets kind of dramatic in here. All right. So tell you guys a little bit about physics. Then I'll go do some fire drill school info kind of stuff, and then we'll go back to this physics story. But you guys see this little streak right here? This here is a shooting star, and it's part of the Perseid meteor shower, which is a leftover remnants of the comet tail called a Swift Tuttle. And the Earth passes through this meteor shower once every year. Actually, it's tomorrow, August 11th. So if you want to see some shooting stars, make some wishes, then yeah, tomorrow's the night. You see that right there. Oh, see what we got here. Hi. So his name is Aiden. Okay, yeah. Try to find a seat. Make sure you're all right. You got okay. Yeah, got you here. All right, go ahead and find a seat. Write your name. You get see a name card in the top left corner. Right. Yeah, and then yeah, get rolling here. All right. So let's see. Yeah, I want to talk about this comet here. Now, this is not the Swift Tuttle comet. This is Halley's comet, which passed by the Earth last in 1986, before any of us were alive. And it only comes by Earth once every 75 or so years. So yeah, we'll all be old people by the time this comes by Earth next. And this actually has a direct lineage to the class that you guys are sitting in right here, right now. I want to tell you guys what that story is. So I'm going to go back a few hundred years ago, close to one of the times this comet actually passed by Earth, and sort of kick-started this class in a weird way. But go back a little bit before that. Let's take a look at this right here. We're going back to 1666. Do you guys know what we're looking at right there? What is that slide? You guys ever seen that tree before? That specific tree? I bet you've seen a cartoonized version of it, whether you know it or not. That is the famous Isaac Newton apple tree, still alive to this day. It's over 350 years old. Actually still makes apples. I don't know how it's possible, but yes, it does. This is the only apple tree in the vicinity of Isaac Newton's house. Isaac Newton's house, you can see right in the background here. You guys see right there? His parents were farmers. Wasn't very good at farming. Most people back in the day were farmers. Like something like 90% of people back in the day were farmers because, I mean, physics hadn't been invented, so the Industrial Revolution couldn't happen yet, right? So we couldn't have mass production without farming. So most people were farmers. His parents were. He wasn't very good at it. He was more interested in academic type questions. Right. And so he's going to college, taking his classes. And in 1666, there's this outbreak of plague. And everybody's at home to quarantine, just like a lot of you guys have been doing last year, right? Except they didn't have video conferencing. So everybody just gets to sort of sit at home and figure out what to do with their time. And Isaac Newton, what did he do with his quarantine? Well, he started investigating a lot of the questions that he was interested in. Right? So how did things work? What's the rules of the universe? And in that summer of 1666, he came up with a lot of foundational work for not just this class, but also calculus. I'll tell you guys something about that. So laws of motion, probably looking at that tree right there, watching apples fall from it, thinking about how does gravity work. Came up with a lot of the original, laid a lot of foundations for how optics work, right? Had some refracting lenses, was watching how light can split in different colors, put the colors back together, get white light. First person to figure that out. He needed a completely new branch of mathematics that didn't exist at the time, called calculus. How many guys are, is anybody here taking calculus? Anybody take, oh, yeah, got some calculus students? All right. If you are taking calculus, that will help you in this class, and this class will help you in calculus. If you aren't taking it, which is almost everybody, then don't worry, you'll be okay too. But what is calculus about? Like if I said trigonometry, you probably think of maybe triangles and angles, or algebra, maybe solving for x. But what is calculus about, like as a branch of math? About rates of change, about instantaneous rates of change. Right? So like instantaneous rate of position could be like velocity, like speed. What if you're changing your speed? Right? You might be accelerating. Right? So created that whole branch of math just out of whole cloth just to support some of these physical laws he's coming up with. And then what does he do with this magnificent work that again like laid the groundwork for so much of just like modern society? I mean, just all the stuff around us. How would we have this without like science and engineering? Okay. Well, shut down his bed and just forgot about these papers for a long time, like over a decade. Uh, who knows? Maybe he didn't think anybody else would be interested in what he came up with. I don't know. But in 1782, oh hey, look, it's that comet. It's Halley's Comet. Now, it wasn't called Halley's Comet at the time, but there was this guy, Edmund Halley, who was asking questions about this comet, along with a lot of other people at the Royal Society over in London. Royal Society was one of the first serious scientific organizations. And see, they knew at that point in history that comets and also planets travel in elliptical orbits around the sun. I'll tell you guys more about that in a few weeks. So not exactly circles, but ellipses, so a little bit elongated. Right? Now, planets are pretty close to circles, that their orbits are, but comets, like that one right there, have very elongated elliptical paths, like a really stretched out oval. But nobody knew why. But they didn't have a good like physical or mathematical framework to be able to explain that. And they're all trying to crack this puzzle. And so Edmund Halley's one of these people who's not able to get it by himself, saying, there's this guy, Isaac Newton, I know, he teaches over at Cambridge, and I know he's good at math, so I wonder if he has some kind of insight on this. So he went and goes talks to him. And Isaac goes, oh, yeah, I cracked that like many years ago. Starts telling him about the laws of motion and gravitation and this new branch of math called calculus he's come up with. And Edmund Halley is probably like, whoa, you figured out all this? Like, we got people like back in London trying to figure out, just like racking their brains, and you've just like figured this all out, and please write this all down. That would really help us out. So as it goes back and takes the next 2 years and writes it all up in this book called Principia. Well, actually, there's a longer title. I'll just call it Principia. It's a Latin title. Now, this right here is sort of the Bible of not just this class, but also calculus. Right? So it's got, I see some of his own handwriting here. Now, this page is on optics, right? So we're looking at some refraction going on, like light bending. He's got laws of motion there. He's got gravitation. He's got calculus. He's got just all the foundational work to this class. Published that in 1687. Okay. Right. So, yeah, I want to go back and tell you guys more about that story. I mean, that's what we're taking next year to talk about in this class is where's the story lead. So let's go. We got some of this fire drill procedure, and you guys got brand new ID badges. Talk about all that stuff. All right, so I know some of you guys haven't been here in over a year. You guys glad to be back? I know I am. I remember when we first started quarantine. You guys remember it was after spring break, like over a year ago. And just from my end, just like sitting in front of the computer screen just for those 2 months, that was really killer. I couldn't imagine like doing that for a whole year, and I know a bunch of you guys did. So, phew, yeah, it's really nice to have just like a space that's just for like learning. Like we're here in the school, it really helps with that structure. But so some of you guys probably not gone through a fire drill in a while. You guys remember if the fire bell rings, what are we supposed to do? Yep, just sit here, sit tight. We're going to listen over the intercom, and then they'll tell us what to do. And it's going to be one of a few different things. Most commonly, they tell us to shelter in place. So we're just supposed to hang out in this room, try to not eat bathroom passes or anything like that. Okay, so shelter in place, just hang out in this room, no big deal. They might say lockdown. No, if they say lockdown, then I'm going to close that window. And guess those nice lab tables back there? Right. We'll just go behind those lab tables, just camp back there for a few minutes. Right, so cover shelter in place, just continue everything, lock down, we'll run behind the lab tables. Or they might evacuate us, like fire drill evacuation. If they do that, there's one of two places they could send us. So I'm going to start with Site B, because that's the same as it was the last couple of years. Site B. Site B is this football field, and they have everybody sorted by subject. So, you guys know we're in this building here, right? Building 3. So here's the school parking lot. Here's the front entrance of the school. You would have walked through here, right? Then walk over here, building 3. We're like right there. All right, so if the evacuation to Site B, we're going to walk out this way. Right? Walk down to this football field, walk all the way down, and all the science classes are supposed to be in this northwest corner right here. Okay? Let me show you the actual official map on this. I flip my screen. All right. Here we go. All right, so oh, no, this is upside down. Okay, so building 3 on this map is like down here. Right, we're gonna walk up this way. Right, walk all along the length of the field, and here it says science. Is this focusing? Right, science, all science classes, and then your other classes, if you want to know what they are. Well, everybody's got the same map, so hopefully your other teachers have this too. Keep this in a red folder, right up here, or across the something like that. And I've got my name on a stick. It says Griffin. You guys see Griffin? So when we're out there with thousands of students, then just look for a Griffin. Right? You guys got that? Right. Now, if they don't send us to site B, they'll send us to site A, which I don't actually have a printout for, but I did see a map on one of the slides, this orientation we'll be going through last week. So I'll tell you where it's supposed to be. Right, you guys see this bus loop right here? No, this is going to be new. This is different than last year. Right, so yet to be tested out. But supposedly they want to send my particular class, so this room, right, all the way to this far end of the bus loop, like right about where that cursor is right there. Okay? You guys see that? All right, so right, any questions on fire drill? So side A right here, side B right here. All right, and then if they send us out there, I'll try to sketch my back real fast. All right, so ID cards. So this is a new thing, these badges, and this is going to be part of the process of getting hall passes and that sort of thing. So we're at school every day. I've got my own badge right here. And how this process is supposed to work. Oh, let me pull up something on my screen here. All right. I want you guys to see what I'm seeing on my end. No, don't do that. Okay. So I've got this new program that I've yet to, okay. Still trying to figure this out too. Here we go. So checkout. Right. Say you need a restroom pass, for example, or wherever else. Let me know. I've got this drop-down bar that has, I think, every single student's name and the entire school in it. So then I'll click that, and then you'll be checked out. All right. Now, just so we're all on the same page and we all know, this is being stored somewhere in some database. So it is keeping track of like, oh, so this student was out for like 8.5 minutes or something like that. Like they'll know that information is somewhere. When you guys come back in, you guys see the scanner right here? Got a scanner about 1 or 2 days now. You're supposed to, it's like a barcode scanner. You're supposed to scan the barcode on your card, and then that will be a way to automatically check back in. And then that timer that's going on somewhere will stop and be like, aha, this many minutes the student was out, something like that. Okay? If you forget your card one day, you just have a yellow badge, see a couple of yellow badges out there, then I can sign you in manually, but if you have your card, just beep, then that fast. Okay? Any questions about ID cards? So, new process, we're all going to learn that, but I think this will work out pretty good. So, all right. It's right here. Now, I should let you guys know, say for slides like this, I think my presentation got cut off a little bit on top and a little bit on bottom. So the title of this is missing, but I think you might be able to figure this out, what this is. See, we've got different bands of colors, little boxes, if you look really close, a bunch of little boxes. We've got things that say like, say high school, college, career, and they're, hey, how many boxes do you think go across every single one of these rows? You got to guess. You're counting them. 50? 52. 52. Whoa, 52 boxes across. There's what, 80 something rows. What do you think this is supposed to represent? Every single box represents a
year.
Oh, yeah, every single row could represent a year. Yes.
It's supposed to represent a week.
Yeah, a week. So every time when I say hit another Friday or hit another weekend, you think, oh, this is another box. Check, it's gone. Yeah, so that yellow band of boxes, that's your entire high school right there. Now, most of you guys are starting 11th grade, so that'll put you about this box right there. And then by the end of this week, will be one more box. Right, so that could be your entire life. One of the things you want to be thinking about is, what do you want to do with your life? What kind of adventures do you want to go on? So, by the time you get down to the bottom here, it's game over. There's this Japanese concept I like a lot called ikigai, and it involves meeting these different aspects of things that could bring you enjoyment. So, what do you love doing? What are your interests? What are you good at? Like skills. say what does the world need, what can you be paid for, right? If you can hit all those things, then uh, it's one framework for fulfillment, right? So we start at the top here. Say, what do you love? What are your interests? I know we've got like almost 30 students in here, about 30 students. So every single one of you is going to have a unique life path, maybe some kind of different use for every single class you're going through. And you're going to figure out like how am I going to say like use this class to match my interests. Talk a little bit more about that. Let me throw these questions up here. Okay. Hopefully you know some things that at least you're interested in. Maybe you know what you want to do in life, maybe not. I know I didn't when I was back your age. I was hoping that someday I'd get a job that I enjoyed, and luckily I did. I really enjoy this job, and I really enjoy working at the school too. I mean, there's always such great groups of students here. You can tell too, you guys look like a good bunch. But trying to figure out for yourself, and how physics even can connect to what you maybe know what you're doing or not, or what your interests are. Right. So there's you guys know you guys ever see a commencement address by Steve Jobs at Stanford University? You guys ever see that? Right. So really good commencement address. Might show you guys maybe last day of school, but if you guys ever had a chance to watch it. He talks about a few different stories. One of the stories he tells is back when he was going to college, he started college. Now, he didn't know what he wanted to do in life at that time. He was just a little bit older than you guys. And his parents were really poor, and they were paying all this tuition money for a college that he didn't even know like why he was there or what he was going to do with this, other than he was supposed to be there. So he dropped out. He never graduated college. Right? He just took a few classes and dropped out. But what that allowed him to do was actually just start dropping in on things that just looked interesting. That's a really great thing about college, by the way. I love doing that, especially trying a big university. Some of those classes have like hundreds of people in them. You just sit in the back and just learn stuff, and nobody will ever know or care that you're there. So that's what he said. He dropped in on a class called calligraphy. What is calligraphy?
The art of writing.
Ooh, I like that. Yeah, the art of writing, right? The art of writing. Yeah, so like lettering, fonts, that sort of thing. Right? Now, what practical application is that going to have when he doesn't even know what he's doing with his life? There was no obvious connection for that, other than he was just interested in it, right? So he takes this class. Now, many years later, as he's developing some of the first personal computers, you guys know did that, right? So some of the first personal computers, Macs. If you have an iPhone, if you have a favorite Pixar movie, right, it's all Steve Jobs. So one of the problems that they had to crack was, well, how do you create a legible font on a pixelated screen? Right? That was a problem at one time. Right? Then all that information about that he picked up in that calligraphy class that he never got credit for because he was just sitting there. Right? That all came back, and that was actually really useful to solve that particular problem. And the lesson there is that you can never connect the dots looking forward because what's in the future? Well, you're going to run into lots of things that you don't even know yet. You can connect the dots looking backward a lot more easily. What are you going to get out of this class or use it for? Well, that's a question that I want to leave open that you can think about like, all year as you're going through this class because you never know. Maybe there's some aspect of it or some thought process that'll be more applicable like 5-10 years from now. You never know. This bubble here, what are you good at? What skills do you have? Hopefully you guys are starting to develop some of the skills based on those interests at the top. Okay, so what do you love doing? What are your interests? What do you want to get good at? You guys are going to get at a good age where you still have a lot of brain plasticity. You guys know brain plasticity. It's like just how your brain is wired. You're able to learn, pick up stuff, learn stuff. You guys know how little kids can just pick up languages like no problem, right? And then as you get older, right, that tends to go away. Right? You still have a lot of brain plasticity until about your mid-20s, right? So yeah, so think about what you're interested in, what skills you want to build, because you still got enough time to work on those. What does the world need? Now that's something that maybe you have some ideas. Could definitely be a thing. It's probably something more too that like as you get older and live more years and run into more situations, you'll start to run into situations where you realize that there's some skill or interest that you built up that is actually applicable to that. So that's probably something more to be revealed by the future. Now, what can you be paid for? Okay, so like a job, what job do you want to work? That's probably more the question that a lot of people ask, like, what job do you want to have in the future? Maybe some of you know, maybe some of you don't. But probably something that Americans tend to prioritize, right? It's like, what job do you have? What do you want to be paid for? Right? It's an important part of this too, right? You got to pay your bills and coordinate society. and I do have a last bullet point down here at the very bottom that get kind of cut off, so half the line's gone. But it's possible that you'll be working a job that doesn't even exist yet. Just, I mean, we're at a really weird period in history. I mean, for like a 250,000 years, that's about how old our species is. It's about a 250,000 years old. Almost all that time, we were just running around in like hunter-gatherer tribes, and only in the last few thousand years we invented agriculture and then industry, and then technology is like changing society like so fast all of a sudden. Like, this is a really weird point in history to be in, but really opportune time too. Right? 20 years ago, I can tell you that. Well, I'll just give you one example. There was no YouTube when I was sitting in your guys' seat. That was not a resource that we had. If you wanted to watch an online video, you had to like wait an hour to download something that was like like a couple minutes long. Right? I know there's a bunch of social media jobs that come about, probably a lot of like AI software development. What's the world going to be like 20 years from now? Well, the future is notoriously difficult to predict. No idea. So make the most of what you can in school. Pick up what you can from your classes, and you never know how they're going to be applicable in the future. I want to give you guys one more example. I didn't want to just leave you with a Steve Jobs example. Do something more personal. So I have a 4-year-old niece lives up in Pennsylvania that got to see it for the first time in a couple of years because obvious reasons. But one of the games that she likes to play a lot, 4 years old, is called Backyard Bingo. So I wanted to make her a better backyard bingo game. So I put this together a few weeks ago. And this was the sort of thing that I think it's more of like a thought process that you can get from this class. It's like how to put things together. I mean, I'm going to be teaching you the laws of the universe, right? How do things work? How do things interact with each other? And I think that gives probably a good framework to look at a complex system and be able to break it down into fundamental parts, or maybe take fundamental parts and put your own thing together. And that's what I wanted to do here. Now, this was a video I wanted to click and show you guys that these sliders did work. So you can check off these things. It's also a 4-year-old proof, so you can pick it up and shake it, and everything stays in place. So I was happy about that. But some of you could probably, I bet there are a couple of you guys could probably make something like that right now. And if you can, then I think you have a leg up in this class, help you with like labs and thinking about how things can go together. Okay? But I want to talk about habits too. So habits, right now, obviously, definition of a habit is some kind of routine that's hard to break. Right? It could be example of some kind of bad habit would be I know we're a few months from now we're all going to be exhausted, right? So I know I'm always exhausted. This is you guys will be too. I mean, learning is hard work. Right? An easy but probably bad idea to get into would be to go home and just like watch TV for like 4 or 5 hours straight, right? Because passing up so many opportunities by doing something like that. I'll tell you what though, if you take this month of August to establish a new routine, think to yourself, what kind of student do I want to be? I've got this quote here: "You're under no obligation to be the same person you were 5 minutes ago." Now that gets harder and harder as the year goes on because we're going to get into like some kind of rhythm, some kind of routine. There's going to be inertia involved in whatever routine you get into. But August, like right now, this is like the best opportunity to figure out what kind of student do I want to be, what do I want this next year to be like, and just how human psychology works. If you take the next about 3 weeks to establish a routine, then it will be really hard to break. In fact, if you get into a routine where you go home and maybe watch 20, 30 minutes of YouTube, wind down, eat dinner, and then say, okay, what have I got on my agenda? What have I got to do? Okay, well, I've got a few assignments I have to do for my classes. I've got friends I have to talk to. I've got maybe like some kind of personal hobby that some kind of skill I want to develop. I mean, it's a ton of stuff, right? But if you can organize it well, and you get into a routine of being able to address all those things, then after you get into September, October, you'll find that you might know this already if you've been in the habit of doing something like this. But if you haven't, you'll find that it's actually would be really weird to go home and get into a bad habit like like watch TV for 5 straight hours. You would feel weird doing something like that. So. Speaking of having agenda items, here's a huge tip I got for you guys is use a planner. How many guys have a planner? How many guys use a planner? And so some of you guys, right? If you do, then definitely use one. You guys know how useful this thing is. If you've never used a planner before, then hey, today could be the first day. So if you're really strapped on materials, yes, I got some note cards in the top right corner of the desk. Well, this wasn't really for that, but if you want to use it as like a temporary planner, maybe you jot down some notes, things you want to do tonight, tomorrow, something like that. It could be a starter planner. Probably pick up one from the store next opportunity you get. I know at the end of every day, I'm so exhausted, and I've got 5, 10 different things that I've got to do to get ready for the next day. I would never remember all those things, but having a planner, I can just go check, 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 get stuff done. What kind of stuff? There's, of course, stuff for schoolwork. Gotta say that. I'm a teacher, right? I want you guys to do physics stuff. Make time for your personal interests too. I mean, you have a life outside of school, and it's really important to develop that. It really is. Ooh, okay. So the big tip: apply positive framing. If you can be engaged in this class, want to be here, enjoy being here, enjoy solving challenging problems. That'll make this class a lot more enjoyable. You'll get a lot more out of it. So say I assign something or throw a problem at you or say go home and do this or that, right? You guys ever meditated, done any kind of meditation? Right? One thing you can get from meditation is to say observe your thoughts almost like from a third person point of view. So say I throw a problem or an assignment at you guys, there's probably a certain feeling that comes attached with me assigning you this problem or this thing. Now, maybe it's a good feeling, maybe it's a bad feeling. Maybe it's like, oh, that's something I got to do, and it's just like one more hurdle, blah, blah, blah. Right? If you notice that feeling, then make note of that because that's probably not very helpful. Right? Versus if you can approach it with a positive framing, say, hey, this is a new opportunity. This is like a puzzle I can solve. You guys ever like solving Sudoku puzzles, crossword puzzles, playing chess? Yeah. Oh, yeah. Go ahead.
Yes.
Chess. Yeah. All right. Yeah. So these are all like think of these like games and puzzles, right? And physics, a lot of physics is like that, right? I'll give you like some laws of physics, laws of nature, and then I'll bring you a problem. If you can apply that framework, then you can think of it sort of like those other games and puzzles. Yeah, this could be a really fun class. Okay, this is what the note cards are actually for. Right, so pick up one of those note cards in the top right corner of your desk. Right, now, I've never done this before, but I always try new things every year. I mean, I'm telling you guys, try something new for August, and I'm doing the same thing. I'm trying new things. So write your name at the top, and what I should put on here too is we're in period 4, right? Period 4. So write period 4 in the top right corner. I'd like to maybe try to learn my students a little bit better this year. So now this is optional. If you want to do this, then awesome. Almost everybody has so far. If you don't really care about this one, that's okay too. But write some facts that maybe you want me to know about you. Now, I'm sure by the end of today, I'll have about 500 facts. So what I'm planning to do is probably put these in a file somewhere, and over the course of the next few weeks, few months, as I learn who you are, see your work, see work, and then I can refer to these and learn a little bit better. Actually, I've been reading some of these cards so far today, and got some interesting facts about students. This could be maybe where you grew up, skills you have, things you want to do in life, just anything you want. I always see amazing things that you guys are doing. It's things that students are building, or like websites they're programming, or like songs they're writing, or you guys do so many amazing things, and it's kind of nice to know about this. Right, so, do you guys see this gray tray right here? This gray tray. So anything you put in this gray tray, I will get. If you want to do this thing, when the bell rings as you're walking out, you can either pop this in that gray tray then, or tomorrow the next day if you want. I mean, there's no due date on this, not really for points, but anything you throw in that gray tray, I will get that. Right, so what are some recommended materials? I do recommend that you have a calculator. I do have a class set, looks like this. I just use a scientific. Actually, I really like this particular model. You can find it at Target, Walmart for about $10 or $15. If you have a graphing, then that's awesome too, but don't really need a graphing, but you can have one. Planner, mentioned that before, so definitely try this out. If you've never used a planner before, say, hey, that's what I'm going to try in August 2021, maybe start today. I'll just try it out and see how it is. And once you get going, like, oh man, this is such a good idea. I believe I never did this before. And so go buy a planner, or just again use a scrap note card if you've got nothing else. Something to keep notes in. I wrote no book, but you want to do loose leaf and a 3 ring, and it's up to you. If you want to keep notes in, right? Probably have those things. All right, curriculum and syllabus. Right, so you guys see some papers clipped to your desk. Find one on the right side of your desk. So not on the front of you, but on the right side. There should be a couple there. They're all the same page, so just pick one and then just leave the rest there. Okay? That's this page that you guys are seeing on the screen right here. Okay? You guys got that page on the right side of your desk? Just one of them. All right, so this is what we learned this year. Since I've done this class so many years, I've sort of, I think I've got the dates nailed down pretty good. Some of these might shift a little bit, but these are all the topics that we're going to be learning. And every single topic, just so you guys know, sort of the rhythm of this class, takes about 2 to 3 weeks. Some are shorter than that, some are a little bit longer, but it's usually, usually about 2 weeks, 2 3 weeks. Okay? We're looking at laws of motion. We're going to start with things like vectors and then linear motion, and then work our way up from there. How I like to structure this class is, I think it works out pretty good, is with every single one of these subjects, which again takes about every couple of weeks, I'll do usually a 1 or 2 labs. So you might get one, maybe a couple labs per section. Throw you guys some kind of homework assignment, and then cap it with a quiz. Right? And those are the points values to each of those. So that's a pretty good rhythm to get into. And then this class is somewhat cumulative. So as we go on through the class, you might see like some past material showing up, and it might be applicable in the future. Right? Now, I should tell you guys too that for homework, I do need to talk about homework. Okay. I know you guys are taking 7 different classes, and you've got again, lots of personal interests and personal lives and social lives going on, and I know your time is really valuable. So if I do assign you something, then it's something that I really, really think is worth your time. And how I usually tend to do homework in this class too is I'll assign you something like well ahead of time, like as we're starting a topic. And then whatever notes that I give you guys in class, it's usually extremely similar to those homework problems. So if you just kind of follow along, then put 2 and 2 together and figure that out. And then I tend to give quizzes that are also very similar to stuff that you've seen. So not like huge surprises. So you can put together and figure it out. You guys have seen this learning pyramid? You've probably heard things like this, like people remember 10% of what they say. No, sorry, 10% of what they read, 20% of what they hear, blah, 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 down to, and then maybe like 90% of it's something they do or put together. Okay? Now, the actual science that this is based on is kind of shaky, long story, but there is there's something that's kind of true about this adage, which is that the more actively you tend to learn, the more information that you'll pick up and retain. Now, keeping that in mind, here's something new that I want to try. So that's why this is experiment here, right? Again, August, always try new ideas. Sometimes I'll try new ideas and they work really awesome, and sometimes they're terrible and I just throw them out after a few weeks. But this is something that I really want to work. I think this is going to be a really good idea. Because say I assign you something, I really love solving physics problems. Like for me, I could just solve physics problems and really enjoy that, just like like playing a game of chess or solving a puzzle or something. But some students I see, they just kind of do it just to check the box, and they maybe don't really get a whole lot out of it. So I want to give you guys some options of something you can do to like fill the homework for any particular section. Again, about every 2 weeks or so. Right. One is just traditional. I assign some problems, and then you just solve those and turn those in. Right. The advantage of that is, of course, they'll be probably really similar to quiz questions, and it's probably just the easiest to do that. Right. This is what I've always just traditionally done. This has always been the only option ever. But let's try some new things. So tell you what, if you want to do one of these other things instead, then I could also give you credit. One thing could be if you create a YouTube video. Now, I want to leave this pretty open-ended and see what you guys come up with. Yeah, see what happens, how this works. If you want to recap an entire section, or if you want to focus on a couple of problems, what kind of style do you want to do? Do you want to do like standing in front of a whiteboard? Do you want to do some kind of animation? Leave that up to you. If you wanted to go this route, then here's a good advantage from that, is that you could pick up all these skills right here. Maybe start some kind of useful channel. If you've ever wanted to start a YouTube channel, but maybe like, I don't know, what would it really talk about, or how do I really put that together? well, now you have an excuse for a really good opportunity to try something like that. You don't have to, but you could do that in lieu of traditional. You could do some kind of 2-page summary. Now this is, let me flip over. Okay. When you guys walked in, there were a few pages on your desk that I won't have time to get to today, but one of them looks like this. I guess this is front back. This is every single thing that, well, I did actually originate this particular page for AP classes, so it is missing a few topics that we'll also cover, but this doesn't encapsulate an entire course. So if you put together something kind of like this for, say, a single section or something that could be useful or referential, then that could, I could check out this homework requirement, and I would think that could be an engaging way to go too. Oh, whoops, got to flip my screen. Sometimes it gives me a technical problem like that. Right. Another advantage of going that route would be if you kept up with something like that, and at the end of the course, say in May, all right, sorry guys. Gotta be careful about flipping on the screen. Sometimes I like to do that on my, is that you can actually have like a whole physics book by May that's actually from your point of view. Well, okay, sorry about that. See, the screen's a little off kilter here. Right. Or if you wanted to create a poster, now that is something more like, I know it's really dark in here, but you guys see these posters hanging up over here? This is some of the first stuff we're going to be learning. So I'm going to do a recap of trigonometry with you guys. So we got some trig. And then, this will be like a couple weeks from now, we're going to get into linear motion, just like motion in a straight line. That's what these refer to. So, that could be like a class notes, but blown up poster size, or maybe simplified a little bit. Right, so, sorry, I'm missing half my table right now, but try to flip my screen again. Right. So if you see one of those options really stands out to you, and you think it's going to be more engaging, you can get more from it, then please try it out. One more time. Where's okay, hold on. Let me make sure Google is working. Because, like I said, I'm actually recording this right now. Okay, I think that's up. All right. 6 days. Okay, we're back. All right, so today, what I really want you guys to do is just explore those links that you guys signed up for at the beginning of class, which is also on the syllabus. So if you missed that in the first couple minutes for whatever reason, okay, look on the syllabus. There's join codes for Google Classroom. Okay, so one of the join codes is this year. I'm going to post materials there as we go through the course, and also post recordings. Like I said, I'm recording this class right now. And if you want to see the old, like last year's Google Classroom and all those materials, they're all there. One's actually for conceptual physics and one's for AP physics. That's fall and spring semesters, but those are there. Actually, let me show you guys a bit. So we're getting pretty close to a pause point here. Let me see if I can pull up Google Classroom so you guys can see what's on it. Show you guys. Okay, physics honors. All right, this is right here. All right, go to classwork and all right, week 1 class files. So a lot of these files are pages that were on your desk when you guys walked in. That's there. Textbook. Okay, so I don't have enough textbooks for everybody, but I do have this digital copy here. If you really, really need a hard copy, just let me know. Go one to you. Right. There's classroom codes and links. We're all probably going to have COVID at some point, so I'm going to try to stream these just like I was over last year. I've got a Google Meet link for our calendar. There's also here we go, Paul Hewitt demos. Now, these are zip drives. These are really big zip drives, so like a gig or something big, but there's this guy named Paul Hewitt. He taught at City College San Francisco. Let me show you guys a demo. Okay, where is Paul Hewitt? Thought I had him right here. Let me go dig around and find Paul Hewitt. Past videos. Mission. Here you go. Just give you guys a sample so you can see. Right, there's a whole folder full of this guy right
The
here.
average speed when acceleration is constant is simply the speed you begin with plus the speed you end up with divided by 2, the average amount, and then multiply by the time of fall. But we're always going to take.
Here's the one I want to show you.
Speed we end up with.
Here you go. Sorry. Here's what I want to do.
You're on the mainland. You're up country, mine country, California. You're out with your friends. And your friends there, and someone opens up an old mine shaft. Musty. Someone says, geez, I wonder how deep that is down there. Dark. Dank. You hear the bats. Straight down. Someone says, gee, I don't know, if we had a rope, we could lower the rope and find out when it hits the bottom. So look, the ladder's all broken. There's no way to find out how far down that goes. You say, wait a minute, hand me that rock. Friend hands you the rock. You take the rock. 5 seconds it takes to hit the ground. Disregarding the time it takes for the sound to come back up. Took 5 seconds to hit the ground, right? Someone says, well, how deep is it? And you say, 5 seconds. 5 5's 25. 25 times 5. It's about 125 meters deep. Someone says, how'd you know that? And you say, college.
There you go. So we'll get to that probably in a couple of weeks. That's one of the first things we'll get to is linear motion. So if you drop a rock off a cliff, how far does it fall as a function of time? Something like that. Right. Yeah, here's what we're saying is laws of nature that govern matter and motion in the universe. So you guys are going to be learning the laws of nature in this class. We'll have a lot of fun. You guys ready for lights? Here come lights. Lights, lights. If you got a card for me, just toss that in the tray real fast today or tomorrow. Hope you guys have a good day. It's going to be a good year.